Welcome back to the Better Everyday podcast, where we are unlocking our best self one episode at a time. My name is David Garcia, and this is my beautiful co-host and wife, Grace Garcia. And today we are on season 2, episode 22.
222. We
started off rough this year, but lately we've been pretty consistent with it. And I like it. I want to thank you all for the ones that watched the last episode 21, based on shame. Grace gave her testimony, a little bit of what happened a couple of weeks ago, and it was well received, especially with the people that related with her. And I believe it was a lot of women that really related to it. And so we want to thank you so much for taking the time for listening, for the parts that you did listen to, for seeing the clips that we've been putting out and receiving it well. We really appreciate it. And we hope that you enjoyed it, that you received something from it. If at all, some encouragement, a little push to keep going forward, and hopefully an encouragement to start practicing confession and start practicing experiencing that true unconditional love. But let's start off with, do you have any updates? What's going on with your life? What's going on with your physical life, with your spiritual life, with your marriage, with your kids? Something that's noteworthy?
I feel like for the most part, everything's kind of the same.
Okay, so you live a boring life, all right.
I live a consistent life. I'm trying to get better. Right now, I'm reading a book about like Bible and archaeology, like history.
Okay.
Just because, well, I'm a history teacher, and the subjects that we cover are basically in 6th grade, it's ancient civilizations, which is the context of the Old Testament. So we talk about Israel, but we also talk about like the Babylonians, the Assyrians, Mesopotamia, which again is the context of Old Testament. And then in New Testament is the context in 7th grade. And so like Rome and Greece and things like that. And so I like the Bible as well. And I'm been a little bored lately. And so I'm like, let me just start a book. So I'm starting a book that helps me with both aspects of my life. And in regards to my physical life, I feel like I'm getting stronger. I'm still doing the same thing. So Pilates twice a week, physical therapy, which you're focusing on strength training once a week. And then I try to run 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. Last weekend I did 9 miles.
For the first time ever.
Yeah, it was a personal record. I felt good, but my hip was hurting a little bit, and then the bottom of my foot was tender, and then the next day my knee was bugging. But
is your knee okay now?
Yeah, it was just like the day after. Then It just went away.
Nice.
And so I'm like, okay, maybe it's just my body saying like, what the heck are you doing? And not me actually hurting it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that felt good. I feel like I'm noticing I'm getting stronger today in physical therapy. I told you that I was proud of myself because there are some workouts where like it's so hard, and then I like stop a little bit to give myself a break, and then I'll go back into it and then stop a little bit to give myself a break. Mm-hmm. And today I was like, no, I'm going to not stop at all. Like I'm just going to go do everything. I'm like, the worst that's going to happen, it's going to hurt so much, but I can't die from this. And so as soon as I wanted to give up, I was like shaking, and I'm just like, Grace, you're noticing getting stronger. This is the only way to get through it. Like this is the way to get faster, like I guess progress. And so yeah, it was hard after I got in my car and like hitting the gas and the brake, like my leg is like shaking. But I feel stronger, and so that's awesome.
How are you doing with your nutrition?
Yeah, that's the part where I can for sure improve. I never said it's perfect. Yeah, weekends, I feel like...
Let's practice confession. Go.
Weekends, I feel like my mind and my body are like, you deserve this, which I know it's not like the proper way to think. But on the weekends, I'm like, oh, when else am I going to get Raising Cane's? Like, I'm not. And so that's when you do it on the weekend, you know? But again, that's not the way to think. So I need to change my thinking and my identity that I'm healthy all week, Monday through Saturday. And then I start rationalizing it. Like, I freaking ran 9 miles. For sure that I just got rid of the calories of the Wingstop I ate last night, you know? And I'm like, and then I start rationalizing more. Like, I'm so skinny, I can afford more calories. But I think it's not about the calories. It's about like, it's not beneficial to my body, like the things I'm feeding it. So I need to like start up thinking about, okay, just calories, like the number, and think about, okay, what are the ingredients? Like, what are you feeding your heart, your mind? That is a tough one for me. I feel, sorry. And I think I also justify it. I guess I have a lot of justifications for this topic.
If anybody feels triggered by this and wants to like throw a comment out there, like, Grace, you shouldn't be doing this, or Grace, you've talked about this on the podcast.
And just know
Hold her
that
accountable.
no one feels more triggered than my husband right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And my last justification is I feel my breakfasts and lunches and dinners, like what we eat usually typically, like I don't eat bad food. Like I don't go looking, I feel like for the most part, right? There's like one meal a week. And so I'm like, okay, like I eat relatively like well during the week. And so it's just a lot of justification. I know. But yeah, for sure I can improve on that.
If you don't know, you're about to find out. My wife usually doesn't listen to me for anything.
That's not true.
It's very true. And so what happens is she'll ask me about something to make me feel like, you know, oh, like I really take in what you have to say. And so I'll tell her what I say, and then she goes, let me ask ChatGPT. She asked ChatGPT, and she's like, no, ChatGPT says this, so forget what you said. All right, cool. So she asked me about nutrition, and I told her, and she said, no, let me get ChatGPT to basically be my dietitian and let me know what I have to eat. And ChatGPT told you exactly what to eat. And that's really the reason why I'm asking you in front of everybody about nutrition, because it's not so much about like your junk food, like on Friday and Saturday. It's more about like, okay, you're now training almost every day. I think you're only taking off Monday as your rest day. And so you're doing Pilates like twice a week, and then you're running like 3 to 4 times a week. So your body needs to be fueled properly. And it is very true. It's not so much about the calories, but it's more about what is the nutrition that you're giving your body, right? So when you're eating fried food, you're not really giving your body the right fuel that it needs.
Yeah.
So, you know, in a perfect world, you have, you know, whole foods, you have whole grains, you have fruit, you have your clean protein, lean protein, and you're, you know, fueling properly to, you know, make the most of what you want, you know, or what you want to do. I'm sure that you want performance and you want to look a certain way. But if you're not fueling properly, then both of those are going to lack. The looking the certain way that you want to look, and also your performance. You're still young, obviously. You're barely 30 years old, and so I think you have that you still have that young person's mentality. I think for me personally, I didn't get like that older person feel until like 34, 35, where I'm like, oh no, like I'm getting to that age. You know, I gotta watch exactly what I eat and how much I eat of it and stuff. But you being like 110 pounds and you're running 9 miles, like I'm almost certain your body's like, you're not feeding us enough and you don't have muscle or glycogen in your body for us to like fuel your runs and stuff. So eventually we're going to break on you. And so I would highly encourage you, especially if you're not going to listen to me. And you can go ahead. You can, even in front of everybody, you can search up on ChatGPT right now. Should I be listening to my husband? And I'm sure ChatGPT will be like, yes, you should.
I mean, it's not like I'm not listening to you. I think with everything, even my fitness journey, like it's taken me like baby steps of like consistency and I think to be able to maintain my consistency, I haven't flipped the switch like from one day to another, because for me that's not attainable.
What's not attainable?
Like flipping the switch from one day to another, like going all in. So I did not work out
Is it that
5 times a week or 5 times a day, or even 6 times. I'm working out 6 times. I did not work out 6 times a day. Like it was Pilates 2 times a week, and I just started off with that. And then it was my physical therapy, and then it was my running. Like with even my spiritual journey, like I feel like everything has been okay. I want
gradual?
gradual.
Okay.
And so it's not like I'm not taking your things into consideration. Like I did the meal preps. I heard you that I need to eat healthier lunches because I was eating like an elementary kid, like Lunchables and sandwiches. And so I did my meal preps, which is high in protein. But then you said like, okay, I have to eat carbs before my runs, which I am. And then you said electrolytes. I'm okay. I have to, and I started drinking my electrolytes before I run. Like, it's not that I'm hearing you, but I think you're getting frustrated about like how.
I'm not getting frustrated. No.
Okay, triggered. You said
I'm
triggered.
not getting triggered either.
You said triggered.
No, I take it back. Because honestly, you're responsible for your own decisions.
But what I'm saying is, I'm going to get there. I want to. I'm doing like baby steps. I'm going to get there. I just don't want to go like, which maybe it's a fearful or like half-assing it, whatever you want to call it. But do you believe me?
About what?
That I'm going to get there?
I want to believe you.
Gradual steps, like I've done with everything else in my life.
I mean, you have history that proves that, when you set your mind to something, you'll do it. So I can't say like, no, I don't think that you'll do it. But there's definitely a good amount of doubt, especially it's because you love your Chick-fil-A too much. You love your fried. You know what you love? You love fried chicken is what you love.
Maybe.
No, not maybe. You love Chick-fil-A.
No, because In-N-Out is not fried chicken.
Okay, well.
I like my biblical fast food place.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
But yeah, that I know I have to do this stuff. And so I want to like up my protein for sure, you said.
And again, there is some, because I follow a good amount of like really good runners, influential runners that are very healthy. And a good amount of them on the days that they have long runs, like they eat In-N-Out, they eat Chick-fil-A or whatever, like, and it's not terrible, because at the end of the day, it's like, okay, are you getting enough protein? Are you getting enough carbs? Are you getting enough fats? All right. And what I'm trying to get at is like your everyday, and I don't think that you're eating enough calories every day. I don't think that you're getting enough carbs or protein every single day. And so I am more logical in thinking it's math, right? You're burning more than you're taking in. Your body is probably asking you for protein to rebuild the muscle. It's asking you for carbs and glycogen to be able to fuel your workouts, and you're not giving it enough. Eventually, I feel like your body's going to crash. So it's about the everyday thing. Like if you have that one day when you do your long run, 9-10 miles, and in a 9-mile run, you should be burning off like 900 to 1,000 calories. Which is like, okay, yeah, you could probably afford to have a Chick-fil-A, which again, and it should be still monitored, right? Because then we can also fall into the same old like, oh, it's just one time, and then the one time becomes 2 times and 3 times, and then you just lost control or whatever. But yeah,
I've never had a problem with losing control because I can have a whole box of cookies and eat
the whole box of cookies.
I've never done that.
Not in one sitting. No. But
1 cookie a day.
Okay.
But if I give you what I eat, will you do the math for me? I hate that math part.
You have ChatGPT. ChatGPT told you exactly what to eat.
Yeah, but
No.
fine. You guys heard it here.
And you know what guys, you want to know what I did? So we had an overage of eggs one of these days, and I boiled eggs for her to be able to cut up, because sometimes she does like bagel and avocado and I don't know what else. So I'm like, throw some eggs on there for the protein. Mm-hmm. I think you used it once, maybe.
Yeah, I just forgot. I kept forgetting. It's not in my natural.
But yeah, anyways. So the gist of your update is that you're doing great and you're working out, not so great on your nutrition. You're reading a new book, which is pretty cool because not many people go, I'm bored and I'm going to read a book. Most people go, I'm bored and I'm going to watch something or scroll or whatever. So it's pretty cool.
I think I got all my scrolling done in June. I got bored. So in July, I'm like, I need something more.
Nice. That's good.
How about you? How are you doing?
Me? Well, I started running. I don't know if I said that last week, but I started running. I went to go see a doctor. Wasn't very helpful. They did an x-ray, did a touch test. Nothing really happened. They ordered an MRI. I'm getting the MRI done tomorrow. She didn't say that I couldn't run. She was basically just like, if you feel no pain, go ahead and run. And so I've run, I don't know, like 3 or 4 times. And today my foot was bothering me a little bit. And then I went for a run regardless because I think I flipped the switch of the Goggins switch. I don't know if anybody knows who David Goggins is, but if you don't know who he is, look him up. He's a very extreme person. Homeboy has no cartilage in his knees and he still runs like 10 to 15 miles every single day. So homeboy just don't care. And his whole life has been pain and he's just ran right through it. And so today I'm like, you know what, screw it. Like, I feel a little bit of pain, but I'm going to run through it. And I'm at the point where I'd almost rather this foot fully break and so I can like fully heal than just be in limbo. But again, tomorrow I'm getting the MRI. So tomorrow they should see, the doctor told me that they should be able to see everything that has ever happened to my ankle, even from the past. I don't know how that works, but they said that they'll be able to see everything and that she'll have to determine what is my current situation and what it is, and then she'll go from there. So tomorrow's the MRI. Today I did my first hard run. Every other run that I've done was pretty easy. I did a 6-mile long run on Saturday, which was pretty cool. And yeah, there's only like now 11 and a half weeks left until a marathon. So I'm kind of just like, this is either make or break. And that's why I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm going to break this thing or I'm just going to run through it. Like, unless like the doctor's like, this is exactly what's going on. This is exactly what you need to do.
They're going to call you for a physical therapist and I'm going to say, I told you.
Oh, well, she already recommended that. Yeah. But I mean, this girl went to physical therapy for her diastasis recti, and now she's just like, you have a personal trainer. Like, it has nothing to do with your diastasis anymore.
No, my strength training is helping me strengthen my core.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens after tomorrow. And then I have to get running because next week on Saturday, the 26th, I am starting with our friend Nancy, a tribe group, a connect group, a run club, if you want to call it. And it's called the Trailblazers. We will be kind of all over SoCal. We'll be going here and there. And it's going to be a 10-week program. We're going to be running. Right now we have, I think, like 40-something people signed up to it, which I am pretty ecstatic about. It's going to be a good time. And we're going to have people that are casual runners or beginners. I did this survey, and one of the options for what type of runner are you right now was there was beginner, casual, intermediate, a marathon is light work. And then the one before beginner was what is before beginner. And a lot of people clicked that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is probably going to be the first time that a lot of them run. So we're going to have a pretty wide range of people that show up. We have people that are showing up with kids like yourself. Our friend Elvia will be showing up with kids. And they even put a I put a thing on the survey that said like, is there anything that you want us to know? And they put, oh, we'll be showing up with kids. So we'll have families running together. We'll have beginners running together. We'll have intermediates running together. And we're going to be, having like small reflections every single time. And because I, through my own running journey, I feel like I've learned a lot of life lessons through running. And I want to like pass it on to the other people and for them to really soak it in and just, allow their lives to transform or to evolve or to allow God to do something in their lives. And for them to just learn like simple principles, really. Like one of the things that I'm going to say is basically like run your own pace. Like it's a lot of people, when they get into something, they think that they need to go the same speed as so-and-so, Bobby Joe over here. And that's not the case. I'm going to tell everybody you need to find your own conversational pace. Find somebody that will run with you at that same pace where you guys can just have a conversation. And that's the pace that you guys are going to be able to fall in love with running. And that's the same thing with everything in life, where if you go too hard, too fast in anything that you do, you're going to burn out and you're going to be like, this was never for me.
That's what I said.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're talking about your nutrition. I'm like, what the heck? But anyways, yeah. So I'm super excited about that. I know Nancy's excited about that. We are trying to plan a special surprise for everybody. And it's going to be an exciting 10 weeks. I hope everybody can show up to all the sessions. I hope everybody falls in love with running that is just starting their running. I hope that we can stay connected as a group. And yeah. But because we are opening up this group called Trailblazers, I started like thinking about that word trailblazers. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, is trailblazers. And the reason why I was thinking about it is because we're planning the surprise. And there's a special meaning to this surprise that, we're preparing for everybody. And it just made me think like the meaning of trailblazers. Like at first I feel like, well, I'm not sure if Nancy really thought about it, but I was just like, okay, that's a cool name. Let's go with that. But then I really started thinking about it, planning the surprise or whatever. And it just like really started dawning on me, like, especially with the people that have said like, what comes before beginner? Like what's before beginner, right? Like this is the first time running. And it makes me think like how many of those people that clicked what is before beginner never really got shown what health looks like, or what being healthy, being active, being conscious of that. How many of them did not get shown that? Like I know from my own experience, I didn't really get shown like be active. Like I got told, hey, go play soccer, go do something, but it was never shown to me. It was never an example, right? And so right now, as I see myself in our life and our marriage and us parenting, I see myself as a trailblazer for our family, for this aspect of health, right? And I think trailblazing also has to do with legacy, right? But trailblazing to me is basically like you're making a way in your, let's say, generations, both past and present and future, where that way was never really a thing, so far as you know, right? I only go as far as my parents. Like what their parents really looked like, I don't know too much about, right? But obviously, I'm saying like my parents weren't really like health conscious. My mom would, she never wanted to be past a certain like weight, but that was about it. It was never like, hey, let's go for a run. Let's go find a hobby together, whatever. And so when I think about that, I'm like, how many people need to decide to be a trailblazer or are deciding? And that's kind of what inspired this topic, was seeing all those people just like, I'm a beginner. What's before beginner? And I'm just like, some of these people have the potential to be those trailblazers for their families. whether they are already married or not married yet. But if they start this journey and continue on this journey, what will that mean for the kids and their kids' kids? And again, through that trailblazing, you are leaving a legacy. I remember my grandmother did this and this and this and this, and because of her, like it started just trickling down. Like you kind of see that with entrepreneurs or business owners, like the kids that inherit the money, like, or they inherit all like the entrepreneurial skills or traits, and they go like, oh, it wasn't really because of me. Like my dad, he opened up this business and he did this and he showed me all the ropes, and now I opened up this business like where I work. My boss's son opened up a business, electric bike business, and I'm sure it was because through his dad he saw like all these things, and his dad was the trailblazer. He was the one, or I think his grandpa was the one who opened up the shop, but he kept, like my boss kept it going from scratch and built it up to this thing. And to see that, it's just like, okay, like to be a trailblazer is to make a way for the people that are coming behind you, right? And so now that I kind of gave that description, I kind of want to ask you, like, when you think about your parents, what's let's say one or two things that you believe that your parents were trailblazers in?
My dad, I think, was a trailblazer when it came to worship and just the type of music and like that whole Hispanic Christian thing. Like he was a trailblazer in his generation. I remember, I think he said he was like 25. I don't know. I have to ask him. He was like young 20s, a young man, like traveling, bringing this new type of like Pentecostal music to other countries, teaching other worshipers about what it means to worship, and like for sure paving the way, I think, in the Pentecostal denomination. And so I've heard stories from him, but also of people that I don't even really know, of like, you have no idea the impact your father did, of people my age, younger than me, older than me, born here, not born here, of just like the impact of that. So I think my dad for sure was a trailblazer in that aspect.
Do you know if your grandparents were like musically inclined?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. But I'd love to ask him. I want to get him on my podcast. I've been trying. But that's a good question to ask. Because, yeah, I don't know. I think he was a trailblazer. I know for sure, which fun fact, I don't know if you guys know his music, but Tony Perez in Inspiración, there's a few songs, actually a couple of songs that his brothers helped him write. And so I know for a fact 2 out of the 6 siblings, the brothers, like are worship leaders and like good worship directors and things like that. But not just 2 of them, I think it was like 4 of them that not only helped like with the music part, but like with lyrics and some songs. He's like, oh no, this one was your tío this, and like this song is your tío this. And I'm like, what? I did not know. And so I think for sure it was like just him, but he was the one who like pioneered that.
Okay. And how about your mom?
With my mom, I don't know. I feel like it was my grandma and my mom, but my mom, I think the like what it means to be a woman, like to submit. So we came from a very legalistic background, not a lot of freedom or empowerment, women empowerment. And my mom from the beginning always questioned it, to the point of people talking bad about her and people saying like she's a rebel and things like that. And like she endured a lot in the beginning years of their marriage. And then like breaking out of that, and my dad becoming a pastor in his own church, like really modeling what a powerful woman is, but still a biblical woman, like not this feminism type thing you hear in the media. And so I think she was a trailblazer for sure in that regard. And just what I'm trying to figure out what a good word is, like what a boss of a lady you can be in the Christian aspect of like the wisdom she had and how it looked like to love on people and serve people. But yeah.
And then now thinking and reflecting on how your parents were trailblazers as a child of theirs, what does that mean to you?
I think I've always felt this huge responsibility of like I'm meant, and from a young age of like I'm meant to do something great in the kingdom of God. And I felt that like before I even knew like the impact my parents have done, like just as a young girl. And then there's moments I feel like where I doubt myself and I feel like the imposter syndrome or like I'm not good enough. And just like I feel like the enemy tries to like make me doubt. And I feel like because they trailblaze, like I think it means a lot to me to be able to like focus on like the people who came before me. And it's like if they could do it and you're a byproduct of them, like why can't you do it or even do it better? So I feel like it gives me that confidence that I need and that encouragement that I need when I'm lacking it. And then I think showing up in those areas, like I'm not musically in tune like my father is. Like that man taught himself how to play music. He could play multiple instruments. And I'm not that, but like what it means to be a true worshiper, like his teachings of the intimacy with God and the importance of like pure worship. And even now taking those lessons and adapting it into like other areas of my life, like not just in the church, but we talked about how being good stewards is good worship, right? And so applying that to aspects of my health and aspects of my career, like I want to do the best I can, not just for the sake of excellence. God deserves excellence, but it's like, it's requiring worship of me, like of worshiping him through my body. And then my area of my mom, I think it's like modeling that in our marriage of like, what does it look like to help you and let you be the man of the house and under you, but how does it look like to still have that power and independence and individuality that I feel like you liked too from the beginning. And I feel that not burden, but the weight of, okay, they gave me so much, and so it's my turn to give that much or more to my kids.
Yeah.
That it can't end with me or my siblings, but like it has to continue. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really inspired by, let's say, the story of your parents. Like I've only heard little snippets of it where when they first started off, I think when they were first married, they weren't really well off. They were struggling a little bit. There was some point where they hit kind of like a breaking point, and that's where one of their most famous songs, like really just, it was birthed from that moment of struggle, but it spoke to so many like Christians that heard it. And I think about what it took for them to trailblaze in that aspect of, worshiping and having all those inspirations for all those songs, going around, traveling everywhere. Like low key for those like who maybe don't understand the Christian world, like your dad was kind of like a rock star for a good amount of his life. And your mom was there with kids supporting him through it all. And
not my dad, like it might sound like, oh, we were well off, but that I think it's part of the trailblazing, like in the back end, he's not receiving anything.
Yeah. And like I also think about, so a little while ago, it was like maybe a year or less ago, we went to a Mark Anthony concert. Grace had been bugging me over and over. I want Mark Anthony. I want Mark Anthony. I want to go to Mark Anthony. We finally went to Mark Anthony. The end result wasn't that great. Grace kind of ruined it. She didn't really enjoy it as much as I thought she would.
He's a talented man. The music's awesome.
Okay. But for me personally, like I was sitting there in awe, and not of like the man, but like immediately when I heard him, I don't know why, like, and I think it's because I always like go towards like the underdog story. I pictured a much younger Mark Anthony, and I don't know his story, but I mean, anybody who makes it in the music industry, like, they don't just like, unless you're Justin Bieber and you get like seen on YouTube. I think he's the only one that I really know. I think there's a couple more like Shawn Mendes or whatever that they got seen on YouTube and then they made it big really fast. But most of the people, especially in the older times, like they had to work their butt off and they had to network. It was like this whole package of things that they had to do. And so I pictured a much younger Mark Anthony writing songs, writing music, whatever, and saying like one day I'm gonna get there. One day I'm gonna be on the biggest stages of the world. One day I'm gonna be like the most like revered or the most asked for like artist. One day I'm gonna be that artist that everyone wants on their song for a future or whatever. And I just immediately thought that, and I'm like, obviously he's much older now and like he's not in his prime anymore, but like to see him on a stage and to hear him, I'm like, at some point he sat there on a stage and said, I made it. It's done. And he just kept moving forward though. And so like, I go back to like your parents, like again, kind of a similar story. Like they were roughing it. They had struggles. And from those struggles was birthed something so beautiful that your dad, I'm sure, worked so hard for. Like I haven't heard that part or whatever, but I can just imagine. And like then when you finally like hit your break or whatever, or your breakthrough, and you start getting asked to go to every place on this earth, like to go like minister these songs or whatever, and then you start keep writing more, the planning of the all the concerts, the writing of music, the writing of lyrics, the inspiration, and still the prayer and the dedication to God and like keeping that connection with him alive and not getting lost in I guess the fame or whatever. Like, I mean, that's something that I can only go to you to in regards to like attributing your dad never got lost in all of that. Right. And you could see it now. He's a very humble man. Like he doesn't walk around being like, I am Tony Perez, or I was on this disc, or I went to this many places. Never. He doesn't have that posture at all. So like to do all that, I just see all the work, and I think a trailblazer is somebody who might not necessarily know the way, you know, like it'd be nice, and I can resonate with a trailblazer because it's like, it'd be nice to have a mentor that already blazed the trail, like that already made the way, so I can just like grab onto him and just follow along. Like a trailblazer is the one that's in the jungle making the path for the people that are coming behind them.
Yeah.
Like he's the one with the machete just cutting down all like the trees, or cutting down all the, in Spanish it's ramos. I don't know what the bushery or whatever. But they're the one like doing all the work, and they don't necessarily know exactly like that's the way to go. They're figuring it out along the way, and I'm assuming at some point they hit like maybe a cliff and they're like, oh, that's definitely not the way. Let's turn around and go this way or whatever. And I just admire trailblazers because they took the initiative. They put in the work. They put in the time. They put in the trial and error, because I believe to be a trailblazer, it takes trial and error. And they just did their best to be able to do their best. And that'd be a great question for your dad as well, is like, what were you thinking during this time? Like, were you thinking about, I'm just doing the work for the Lord? Or were you also thinking like, this is going to be a legacy for my children? Like whether they go into exactly like the same industry that I'm in right now or not, but like for them to see or be inspired by the trailblazer that I was, for them to take upon them being trailblazers, right? And that's why I asked you, like, as like reflecting on your parents, like, what does that mean to you? Because I would like to hope in the way that me and you are trailblazing for our kids, I would like to hope that one day our kids go, I really appreciate my mom and my dad and all the effort that they put in.
Yeah.
I really appreciate, and it inspires me to do my own thing as well. And they also show me that if they could do it, I can do it too. And I feel like a part of trailblazing is also telling your story. And the reason why I say that is because, especially nowadays, all you usually see is the finished product, and people go, "Oh, they were an overnight success." But if you're a trailblazer, and especially with your people close to you, right, like your immediate family, your friends, and any other influential circles that you're around, like I think it's important for you to tell your stories while you're doing it. At least in some parts. Why? Because you're inspiring people. Because, for example, we were talking about working out before, and you look on Instagram and you see these ripped people, or you see these girls that are just like have the body that you want, and you're just like, what the heck? Like, is that just genes? Because all you see is the finished product. You don't see like where they came from and how they got there, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's so important, because basically what you're doing as you are telling your story, as you're telling your testimony, is this is the way to do it. And the way to do it is one step at a time. That it takes time, that it takes effort, that it takes prayer, that it takes intelligence, it takes knowledge, it takes you studying, it takes you an investment of time, a sacrifice of things that you would maybe rather be doing, like eating Chick-fil-A or watching whatever. Like this is what it took, and it was one step at a time, because people right now only see like the finished product. I feel like most people go like, well, they did it so fast, and so it becomes so unattainable. But to be a trailblazer and to tell your story at the same time is you bridging that gap of like, hey, whoever's coming behind me, I want you to know it's not that hard. Like if I could do it, you could do it too.
Yeah.
I'm trailblazing to inspire other people, because I want you to know that I just took it one step at a time. It took me years, yeah, but I did it one step at a time. And at that point, it comes down to, did you have the endurance to take that one step at a time? Did you, when that endurance came in and you were tested, did you have the perseverance? Did you have the hope? Did you have all these things that will allow you to be that trailblazer, right? I don't know what you think about what I've said so far.
No, I think it's good. I love the visual of being in a jungle and like making a way, and it being difficult, but you're paving that way for others behind you. Because I do think, in thinking about my parents, it's like I didn't follow in their footsteps, like to either being a musician or a psalmist, like, and then in the case of my mom, I was thinking about, I'm like, oh, she trailblazed and like reaching a good financial place, like being an entrepreneur, like she was a hustler. And it's like, I didn't follow that area per se. Like you can't really copy and paste it, but I think just seeing it, being around it, like gives you characteristics where that's like, okay, I'm going to take this, whether I did it subconsciously or not, whether I was born with it or not, you know, it's like nature versus nurture. I take this on and I apply it, and I'm like living it out, working it out. Again, I wasn't even being intentional about it. Like, oh, my mom did this, so I'm going to do this. And my dad did this, so I'm going to do this in this area. Yeah. And so I'd hope that with people sharing, feeling more comfortable in sharing their testimony and knowing like your words, your story has power, people can know that. Like, okay, they might not be following in your exact footsteps, but you for sure are giving them tools that they need for this other area. You're giving them characteristics of what it looks like to succeed, to apply that in that other area. And so I think it is super important for people to share their story.
Yeah, 100%. And I do wonder, because I feel like a lot of people wait until they're the finished product for them to tell their story. I don't see a lot of people being comfortable with telling their story while they're in the middle of the process. You know, like, hey, this is what my goal is. This is where I'm at right now. I'm struggling, but I'm still taking it one step at a time. Today's step was a baby step. It wasn't much of a step, but I still stepped. I'm getting tired. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going, but I know where I want to go. I know where I want to be. I know where God is calling me to be. And so I wonder, would it be good and would it be a positive impact to be sharing your story along the way?
Yeah, for sure. And perhaps, I don't know what you think about this, perhaps it's that, what you said, because it's for sure true. But on the other side of it, people who are doing that, but because people are like, who are you? You haven't made it, they don't listen.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not until after where they missed that whole part of that person's life where they're like, now I want to listen to you or see you. And they skipped it because they didn't bother, right, to look at this person that's not where they're at.
Yeah, and I don't want to get too stuck on this, but I have heard some people say, like, the things that you do it in private and let your works speak publicly, right? And I get that. But then I also think about, like, again, your testimony. And I feel like most people are more comfortable telling their testimony when they're the product's finished. I made it. And how impactful would it have been for you to share your story while you're going through it?
Yeah.
You know, but I get it because you are more susceptible, more vulnerable to negative influences, possibly. Maybe that's the reason why some people just don't choose not to share it, because they're like, I know it's already hard. And for me to share it and then hear negative comments, it's only going to get even harder. Like, why am I going to make it that hard for myself? Like, let me just buckle down. Let me get this done. And then once I'm done, you know, let me share my story, you know? But I feel like it is a little bit harder for people to, like, grasp how real it can be, you know? Like, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I hear stories like that, I'm like, I mean, thanks for sharing it, but still, like, it feels like it's still a far-fetched thing. Yeah. Whereas, like, I wanted to see, like, where you all were at on day 102 when you were, like, knees deep in debt, or knees deep in struggles, or knees deep in, like, you know, whatever. And, like, I want to pick your brain during that time, because I know that I'm a lot closer to day 102 than I am to the finished product.
But do you believe that when you see someone you don't know, like an influencer, or I don't know, like someone you don't know, and you see them at their peak, obviously, like on the other side of them trailblazing, and they do give either like flashback videos or pictures or anecdotes, like, do you believe them?
Yeah, of course. I mean, for the most part, there wouldn't be a reason for them to not believe them.
I feel like I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But unless it's someone like I know, I'm like, oh, wow. Like, I feel like it's more impactful when it's someone that you know, and then you're like, oh, they're your average Joe. I'm just like them. Versus someone like with a platform or a status.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, all these people that we see that made it, they're the same race as us. Like, they're not aliens. Like, they were all average Joes at some point.
Oh, I thought you meant like Hispanic, like race. I'm like,
oh, I mean, like,
like the human
species.
race.
Like, yeah. Like, we're all humans, right? Like, they're not aliens. Like, they were all average Joes, right? And it's like you said, because we have no relationship with them, we see the final product and they share a little bit of their testimony, and you're like, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, even when they share a little bit, you're just like, nah, it's still like.
But yeah, and I feel like it's hard for people to share. Because even, like the Bible says, right, like even people didn't believe in Jesus or denied him because it's like a prophet from his own home, right? Like, where they're like, that Jesus, the ones that we know, his brothers and his mom, people are like, like, I know you, like, who do you think you are? Like, all of a sudden you're documenting your journey. Like, that gets into my head. Like, do I come off as conceited? Do I come off as like, look at me, I'm like better than you? Like, I get into my head and I'm just like, I shouldn't post. And I'm trying to like push through that. I'm posting because I have seen people where they're like, you're inspiring me. I want to run, or wow, like I'm noticing a difference in you. I don't know, like just things that inspire me or inspire them, and them telling me. And so that helps when a few of those moments come up. It helps me push back the negative thoughts. But for me, it's hard because I'm like, oh, they think I'm all that. Or even like my TikTok journey, where I was like sharing the testimony of like what happened, and people are like, what? And they got inspired. Like, how did you do that? Like, teach me. But I was like, oh, is this taboo to talk about? Like, how much money I made? Is it taboo? Like, I get in my head. It's not easy to share to the world, especially when you think about how will I be perceived? Like, are they not taking, like, are they not seeing my heart behind this?
Yeah. Yeah. But I think, again, let's take it to your social media career. Like, yeah, I think you have been a trailblazer in that. And I mean, I've always seen you excited to share your journey.
Yeah. I feel like if I was on a spectrum between like not sharing my journey to sharing, like I'm for sure more on the open book. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like if it's so easy for me compared to others and I still have those doubts, like how much more difficult would it be for people who are like a little bit more closed or reserved, you know?
Yeah. But super important. And for me personally, like my mom was a trailblazer in regards to like faith. I know for a fact that my grandparents, which are her parents, were not very religious people. They weren't practicing faith. And so she was a pioneer in that. She was a trailblazer in that. Like, and that woman, I think I got my black and white mentality from her, because the moment that she gave her life to Christ, like she was all in, all in.
That's awesome.
And she was always all in, no matter any problems that she had at home. No matter how big her marital issues were, like she was all in.
And she's still all in, yeah.
And she's still all in, yeah. And she's always like on top of me, just like, are you still like, you know, going forward? And then I'm just like, yeah. And so I admire my mom for that. I've told her many times that I would not be where I am today or who I am today without her being that faith trailblazer. I remember one time she had a small hiccup in regards to that. And I remember I got so mad at her, but really it was like, I was hurt. I was hurt. I was saddened. Like it rocked me, because she's like, oh, I'm going to take a break from church. I remember that. And I was just like, I flipped out on her and I'm like, you were the rock of this family. Like, how are you going to just like take a break? How are you just going to drop it? And she's like, I'm done. I'm too tired. And I'm like, what do you mean? But I felt like in that moment, at least for like an interim, because I mean, she came back and everything, right? But for an interim, I remember I told her, and it was like through text or messenger or something like that. I was like, if you're not going to like keep going, me and Jonathan, my brother, are going to keep going. And I remember feeling like I was taking the baton, and I'm like, all right. And now reflecting on it, like me feeling like I was taking the baton, I was just like, you already made the way. Like you already showed me like what faith looks like. You already showed me what a person practicing faith looks like. Like I'm moving forward. Like you showed me the way. And when I think about that, like that means so much to me. And that's what I really, really, really hope that our kids can one day like be proud of us for, you know, like for them to be like, you showed me the way, like you trailblazed, you went into the rough, you know? And I think for you to trailblaze, like I always say with everything, like it's everything that you do, everything miraculous that happens in your life, it's always more than just about you. You know, like some people might have the thought of like a Mark Anthony, like I want to be famous one day. And, you know, it's all about you. But even in those instances, I don't think it's all about them. Like they trailblaze for their next generations, you know, whether they showed them good things or bad things, like it is what it is. And hopefully the kids take the good and they also see the bad and they do their better version, whatever. But like, I think it is so important. And that's why like I go back to the running group that we're starting, to see all those people basically say, this is going to be my first time running. And I see all those people, whether they acknowledge it or they realize it or not, are making the decision of, I'm going to be a trailblazer. I was not taught this. I was not given this. There was no role model for this. But I know that this is important. I know that this is needed for myself personally and for my future generations. And so I'm going to take the initiative to go into the rough, go into the jungle. And I'm willing to hack this out. I'm willing to cut down all the bushes. I'm willing to find the way, even though I might have to like take a break sometimes, or even though I'm gonna have to like maybe do a U-turn because I went the wrong way or whatever. Like, I'm willing to put in the work. And I think about like Moses. God calls him to do something that he had no idea what he was in for.
Yeah.
And the whole goal was get the people of Israel to the promised land. And homeboy worked and got mad and, just went through this whole process. Never made it himself. But did the people of Israel make it? They made it.
And I think going back to your mom's story of when you said she took that break and you didn't know if that was going to be the end of it or not. But I imagine as a mom, like I'm putting myself in her shoes. And when you said like, okay, I'm gonna take the baton, like that's the point of trailblazing, that at the end of the day, if I give up, like your kids, like you did enough work where your kids will be okay.
Yeah.
And I think of like my mom, or even like my dad, but my mom of I'm leaving this earth. And I would hope she had that confidence of like, they're gonna be okay because I taught them, I put in the work, they've seen me. And so they'll be good. Not that it's not going to be easy for them. They might have to do some trailblazing on their own. It's not a perfect path, but it's a path, but they'll be okay. They'll get there. I think that's how you know you did it right. Like I'm assuming your mom had peace, and whether she made up her mind, like I'm going to keep going or not, she had peace of like, wow, I put enough work that like my son sees it and he'll be okay. Him and Jonathan, they're going to be okay. And I think that's the greatest gift you can give yourself and your kids. It's like, I don't know what the future holds, but I taught them this much. I did this much. And so if anything, they're going to come out better than me one way or another because I led the way. And so now they just have to continue from this spot, right? And move on. And they're going to go more forward. And there's still trailblazing that they have to do because you can't go the whole journey.
Yeah.
But you got them to a point where there's no way but to go further.
And I think that's one of the reasons why it's so important to be a trailblazer. And so my final question for you would be, what is an area or areas in your life where you feel like you are being a trailblazer for yourself and for your family and for your friends, circle of influence?
I think education.
Okay.
Shout out to my brother, Jesse. I think I inspired my family and him specifically of like going to Biola University and pursuing higher education. I think it's important. I want to even pursue more. Like I want to be a trailblazer and like, okay, not only just get a bachelor's, but a master's and a PhD. So for sure, education. I think even like, that kind of goes into like career wise, like having the stable career and things like that. But I think even financially of like not being tied down to one stream of income. But my parents also kind of led the way there. Like they had multiple streams of income. They were, again, entrepreneurs. So I think maybe I'm just taking it a step further and be like creative with it. With you alongside you, that health journey, you for sure like opened the door. I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this together. Our kids, I didn't want to be left behind. Like I saw you take the baton, and yeah, I was a little bit out of pride, but I'm like, I can't be that wife that like your husband's doing all of these amazing things and like I'm just a blob. And so that inspired me. And then when I was thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I want our kids to say, No, we saw mom and dad moving their bodies. We saw mom and dad. Like, this is a family thing. It's just what we did. On weekends, it's just what we did. We want to go out and run. That's just how life is. I think trailblazing in my family, but also a circle of influence of financially getting out of debt and what it means to not, like, we don't go on credit card debt, of what it means to budget and what it means to say no to things, which was hard because a lot of people we're going against the current of like, wait, why can't you go out? But you have money while you're actually like poor.
Yeah.
You're going against the current of that. But yeah, I think that's what I'm.
Yeah, I would agree. For sure, financial education. I come from a family that, I mean, my mom used to always fight about money. My dad was never really good with money. He was a spender. He was never really much of a saver. I know that they attempted many times, but they always found themselves digging into that savings account and, not being the greatest financially. So having that financial education, which took a while. I mean, we've said it here before, like, it took a while. We got it done. And to be trailblazers in that and now teach our kids that is a humongous blessing, to be trailblazers in that. Like, I truly believe that with the character and the knowledge that we have in regards to this aspect of finances, our generations are only going to get better and better. Praying and hoping that, the trend of trailblazing continues and none of our future generations get into debt. And they just, how do I say this? There's no like easy way of saying it, but like there's not many Hispanics that I know that have that story of like, oh, like my parents like showed me financial education and because of them, I'm financially free and I just opened up my business. And like, you only really hear that from one specific race, which is...
No, but mind you, we're in the like first gen, second gen Hispanics. Like, I feel like we're in that bubble.
No. You're talking about first and second gen Americans. But I mean, what?
Because I know
Hispanics in other countries don't have financial education because they're in another country. Like, no, like I have family members that are really wealthy in El Salvador. Like, so it's not a matter of like if you're first or second gen American or whatever. That has nothing to do with it. What it has to do with is somebody in one of the generations finally said, I have had enough with debt.
That's true.
I've had enough with this hanging over us. I've had enough with these bad habits. And that's what trailblazing is. Like, you're done with the patterns and the habits of the past. It's time to make a new way now. And you're going to be the one that initiates that. Right? And so that's why I said it's important. And I'm very grateful for the journey that we've gone through, in regards to that. And like I said, I truly believe that our kids are going to be great. I'm trying my hardest to figure out how to teach my son financial education. But it's not easy when they don't fully grasp like the concept of money and like what it means to save and invest and like save for something bigger. Like, homeboy just likes to spend everything.
Well, because it doesn't cost him anything.
It doesn't cost him anything. Yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to figure that out. And then with the health as well. Again, I said it in the beginning, like my parents didn't really show me that. And so at first it started off as something as like about it being superficial, but now it's more about longevity and sharing it with the next generations. And from the looks of it, especially with Elijah, he's going to be an active kid. And I'm hoping that he's always an active kid, grows up to be an active man, that he continues to be healthy, health conscious, that he shows that to his kids. And again, I feel like over time, like our generations are just going to cook in the best way possible. And they're just going to get better. And Maybe it's almost, well, not really, but like kind of like a Moses thing, like, we won't be able to get to exactly where we want to be, but to know that the next generations are going to get there, like that brings peace to me. And it's kind of like what you said about my mom and that time that she took a break. She's like, they'll be okay. I did enough that they'll be okay. And so I think that means a lot to me in regards to being a trailblazer and setting up our kids for success in every area of their life, in faith, in finances, and health, in relationships, and everything. And yeah, but again, I think it's very important for us to be trailblazers. It's very important. And again, this was inspired by the running group. And at one point, I want to drill that into them, that it is so important what they're doing. And it's so meaningful, like more than just what they're doing for themselves. Like I see there's a couple of people that I'm following, that they're like posting their health journey. And they're not a finished product. Like they always say, like, I'm not where I want to be. But I message them like, you're an inspiration. You are an inspiration because you're not showing the finished product. You're showing like, this is my starting. This is where I'm going. Here I am struggling, but I'm still going. Like, that's inspiring even to the people that like have made it.
Yeah.
Like for them to like reflect back on like, oh, I was once there and now I'm here. And like it sometimes breaks that whole complacency on some people when they're like, I've made it this far. Like I'm good. But to see somebody like that and remember like, that's where I came from and this is where I'm at right now. And that came through hard work and roughing it and taking it step by step and just like, I need to continue doing that. It's inspiring. Even if you're not a finished product, you are an inspiration. And so I would love to get that message across to other people joining the run group that what they're doing is trailblazing and what they're doing is inspiring not just themselves, but they're inspiring people around them, people that they wouldn't never even have thought that they would inspire, and that they're making a way for their next generations, which is so meaningful. And I think it is so important nowadays, especially for people to trailblaze and set the standard for their families and for their next generations. Because the standards are so low right now that it's few and far in between the people that stand up and say like, no, I'm going to make a difference. I'm done with these patterns. I'm done with this laziness. I'm done with this comfortability. I'm done with these old patterns. Like I'm done with it. Like I'm going to go. I'll figure it out. I don't know. I don't have a map. I don't, but I'm going to get in there and I'm going to figure it out. And I think God for sure honors that. God for sure honors your intent, your heart posture, and he's going to be with you along the way. And I think it's kind of like a Joshua thing, like wherever you go, I'll go. And it's all about the heart posture. So yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So be a trailblazer. Be a trailblazer, people. It is so important. And I really hope as you heard myself and Grace have this conversation that you started thinking of ways that you can be a trailblazer or how you have been a trailblazer. And I also hope that anybody who has been feeling complacent or stuck in one place through this conversation got that complacency a little bit, shrugged off or shattered, and that you're ready to put in the work again. And again, whatever it is that you do, it's more than just about yourself. It's about your next generations. It's about your friends. It's about your circle of influence. God wants you to step into what you are being called into. And there are people waiting for you to step into that. There are people waiting for you to trailblaze so they can follow along and walk behind you and be like, this person is doing it step by step. And if they can do it step by step, I can do it step by step. And for you to be a blessing in that regard. So again, I hope that this conversation was an inspiration to you. And I really hope that it also causes you to want to have a conversation with somebody else in regards to this aspect and maybe dissect it even further than we did. That would be really awesome. And if you guys have any stories, please comment them. If you guys have any comments, comment them. If you guys want to call Grace out, call her out. I'll call her out with you. I'll extra like that mess. But no, we really appreciate your guys' time for watching these episodes. We would really appreciate you giving a thumbs up, you subscribing to the YouTube and any other platform that you guys are hearing this on. And we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. We're always praying for you guys. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.